All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk to you about the Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford fight, and I am going to tell you the top 3 reasons, and I'm going to give you a bonus 4th, that Errol Spence Jr. will most likely beat Terence Crawford in the mega fight that they have coming up on July 29th. Now, before I do that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you as well. But let's get into this. If you guys wouldn't mind, hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed, hey, after the video, if you like it, consider hitting that subscribe button. Would help the channel with the engagement. But before we get into that, I just want to tell you real fast about today's sponsor, the Boxing Showtime app. It's a very useful app that keeps you updated on all things boxing, and you can keep up with the latest fights, where to watch them, the latest news, and a lot more. For any hardcore boxing fan like myself, and most likely all of y'all, I would definitely recommend downloading it. And it also is most definitely a big support to the channel. It's available for both Apple and Android, and you can find the link in the description below. Thanks for considering downloading Boxing Showtime's app. But let's get back into the subject matter of the video. Let's get into it, because we know we got this big fight coming up on July 29th, and there's a lot of talk, a lot of conversation about whether or not, who is going to win the fight. And you have Terence Crawford, who is a multi-divisional champion, the former WBO champion at 135, former undisputed champion at 140 pounds, and the current 140-pound reigning champion, who's been there for, I think he's been there about 4 years now, maybe if not a little over 5 years, maybe closer to 5 years. But it's been a good amount of time where he has been at the welterweight division. He's had a series of knockouts in that since he's gotten there, knocking out Jeff Horn and Jose Benavidez and Amir Khan and Kell Brook and Egis Kalvanakis, David Avanesian and Sean Porter. So there's a lot of people that are feeling real amped about his chances to beat Errol Spence Jr., calling him the fight, it's about to be a fresh fish fry, and how, they're about to gut the fish before they fry the fish and all that good old stuff, throwing big, long block parties and all of that. Meanwhile, Errol Spence Jr. has been relatively quiet, training, did put out a t-shirt that said something to the effect of smoking on Bud. Obviously, that's Terence Crawford's nickname, come July 29th. And with a new t-shirt, now that the fight's been made. But as for the fight itself, there are several reasons why I think Errol Spence Jr. is going to win this fight, or will win this fight over Terence Crawford. But I had people ask me, this over and over again. So I'm going to give you the main 3 reasons. There's actually a couple more, but I want to point out the ones that I think are the easiest to digest and the ones that are easiest to explain. The first one is that Errol Spence Jr. is not scared of Terence Crawford. If you look at the way Errol Spence Jr. moves, if you look at the way that he has pursued this fight and made this fight take place by refusing to fight anybody else, the fact that he said many years ago that he was going to fight, well, exactly what he's going to do was get all these other belts, then he was going to come for Terence Crawford. Also, the fact that Terence Crawford is somebody that I think really does rely on a fair amount of intimidation in the fights that he has against fighters. He has a reputation as being one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world. And I think that to a certain extent has affected the level of competition that he's had, or at least the hope that of the fighters that were fighting him actually had to win the fight. I don't think that there's been anybody that has fought him at 147 pounds that actually walked into the ring with the idea that they could win the fight and felt that they were the favorite, right? This is not the case with Errol Spence Jr., who most definitely feels like he knows exactly what he's going to do to Terence Crawford, and that he is going to beat up Terence Crawford, and feels like he's the dude, right? Coming out of the Olympics, and being an Olympic quarterfinalist, being undefeated in the welterweight division, going over to the UK. I think that's one of the examples that you can see where Errol Spence Jr. showed the grit and determination that he has, and the level of focus that he has to go over to the UK and fight Kell Brook for his IBF welterweight title in Kell Brook's own backyard, to drown out all of the noise and all of the drama that was going on there, and to produce a knockout win over there against a guy that many people considered at the time to be the best guy in the division. That's just a very, very major thing, man. Then you have the second thing that I would say that I am saying, and I would say that I am saying, is that Errol Spence Jr. has a work rate. And Terence Crawford is somebody that really does like to figure his way out and look for adjustments in the fight, take his time, and figure out exactly what he's going to do in order to capitalize on it and beat a fighter, right? I think that with Errol Spence Jr., this is a situation where he is playing speed chess and not chess. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Terence Crawford will not have an opportunity to think and make adjustments, or that Errol Spence Jr. won't have to make adjustments, some adjustments to what Terence Crawford is doing. I think that is very, very fair. However, how much time do you have to do that, right, is a major consideration. And pressure busts pipes. That is something that we all know is true in boxing, and we all know is true in life. That the more put upon you are, the more pressed you are, the less time that you have to actually think, and the more you have to act, you have to react. That can be very, very difficult, especially on somebody that really thinks that they are able, that likes to think their way through these fights and likes to take their time and start slowly, right? If you look at the scorecards for the last of his several fights, the one with Sean Porter, I do believe after 3 rounds, he was down on the scorecards with Sean Porter and it was very even going into the 10th round. I think Terence Crawford was only up by 1 round going into the 9th round against Sean Porter. Right? Somebody else who likes to press you and not give you a lot of time to think, but nowhere near on the level of aggression and the fundamental soundness that you have out of Errol Spence. Then the third one is that this is a southpaw that Terence Crawford is fighting in Errol Spence. Now, obviously, Errol Spence is going to have to fight Terence Crawford, who also fights in the southpaw stance. Many people say that Terence Crawford fights, he switches. I like to disagree with that and say that, yeah, he does switch, but he switches very, very, very quickly, and he stays in the southpaw stance for prolonged periods of time. And the reason that he does it, from what I can see, is that he does it to slow the fight down. He does it to change the angle and make it more difficult for the orthodox fighter who he's usually fighting to be able to hit him with his jab, because with the orthodox jab, because now Terence Crawford's right hand is in front and able to parry and block from closer the jab hand. Also, Terence Crawford is naturally a orthodox fighter, so that allows Terence Crawford to put his more powerful hand in front to come over the top of the jab, which is usually coming from the weaker hand of the orthodox opponent, and that's not going to be there with the Errol Spence Jr. fight. So those are the 3 major reasons why I think that Errol Spence Jr. is going to be able to beat Terence Crawford. I think that is, the combination of just being very determined, being very confident, not being somebody that is going to be iffy or fearful of what's coming back at him. That bullying the bully is a real thing. To the fact that Errol Spence Jr. is very, very hard to beat because of the amount of punches that he throws and the work rate that he has. And that's going to rack up scoring. That's going to rack up points. It's also going to open up and make Terence Crawford open up more, which leaves more opportunities for Errol Spence Jr. to take advantage of mistakes, unlike other fighters have been able to do. And then, of course, the southpaw stance. And the one thing I don't think people can miss as a bonus here is that looking for the one shot is how Terence Crawford has been fighting for a while, or looking for the one combination to land on someone and to really pick up the pace. He's going to have to pick up that pace immediately. And if that shot's not there, that fight's not going to be there. But anyway, that's not to say that there aren't things that Terence Crawford can't do to counteract it, because, you know, it's sports, man. None of this stuff is written in stone, but that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.